Hey everybody, my name is Laura Miller. You can find out more about my journey at indooorskitchen.com. I am a woman entrepreneur. I'm a farmer, a chef, and a specialty food manufacturer. I have got some zucchinis. I walk away from the garden for a couple of days and I end up having these giant baseball bat size ones. Everybody knows these ones are not very good to eat. They won't be very tender. But if I grate them up and turn them into zucchini bread, they're going to be delicious. I'm going to show you two varieties. We're going to do one that's an almond flour, diabetic friendly, almost gluten free, and very low carb. And the other one I'm going to do traditional with a wheat flour and some chocolate chips. So stick around. I'm going to show you how to turn these into something delicious. Okay, so step one is we're going to take the top and the bottom off. I'm going to split this in half and we're going to scoop out any of the seeds that are in the middle. Any of that mealy stuff is just going to make your bread too moist and it's not going to finish properly. So we're just going to pop those ends off like that. And then we're going to come right down the center. And you see all of this we're going to get rid of. Then what I'm going to do is any of this nice firm material, I'm going to take with my trusty old box grater, turn it into shreds. You can peel the outside if you like. I like leaving a little green in there because then it makes me feel like that bread is healthier than it really is. So I'm going to not peel these, but I am going to scoop these seeds. Okay, recipe time. So I've preheated the oven to 325 degrees. That's hot and ready. We're going to start combining our ingredients. I went ahead and grated all of that zucchini, and then I pulled out 2 cups worth for this recipe. The rest we're going to make into the diabetic friendly version of the zucchini bread. So for my dry ingredients, I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I've got 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, and a half a teaspoon of salt. So we've got our dry ingredients combined. Now we're going to combine our wet ingredients. I've got 3 eggs. And then I've also got some of my good vanilla from my shop here. You can go to shopdelavignes.com and buy online. Or if you're in Waterbury, stop in and see me. I like to go a little heavy with vanilla, so 3 tablespoons of vanilla extract. And I've got 2 cups of sugar. And then you're going to need a cup of our tangerine infused olive oil. I infuse with the actual orange zest so they settle into the bottom. So I'm just going to shake that up so that I get all of those nice orange pieces into my blend as well. And again, you can come in and see me down here in Waterbury. I always have my oils out to test and taste, which is great. You can walk around the shop and try them all. And I also do tastings and cooking classes, so follow us on Facebook or check us out online. All right, so I've got a full cup of our tangerine infused olive oil. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a whisk. You can do this in a mixer if you like, and you're just gonna combine all of these together. Get all of your wet ingredients incorporated with your sugar. It's very important to make sure that you've got the eggs and the sugar completely dissolved, and it's gonna turn a really lovely creamy color as the oil gets incorporated with the sugar. So once your mix looks like this, we're gonna go ahead and combine our dry and our wet ingredients. I'm gonna put the zucchini in with the wet just because that makes it easier to incorporate. And then a little at a time, I'm gonna add in this dry flour. So at the very end, I'm gonna add in a little bit of chopped walnuts, and we're gonna put this in the oven in a nice loaf pan. I like to line my loaf pan with a sheet of parchment paper. It just makes it very easy to get the bread out once it's. All right, while the traditional zucchini bread is in the oven baking, I'm gonna move on to the diabetic friendly version. As I mentioned in the beginning, this one is almost gluten-free, and by that I mean the mixture itself is gluten-free, but if you want a really good crust on this, you can butter and flour your bread loaf pan before you put the batter in. I'm gonna make this completely gluten-free, so I'm gonna do it in a parchment paper lined, a little bit more of a wider, flatter pan, just because I like the way that looks for this one. So in this mixture, I've got 3 eggs, I've got a half a cup of our Delavignes lemon infused olive oil. This one that I'm gonna make this bread is gonna be a blueberry lemon version. So the lemon infused olive oil has these great citrus notes. And then what I'm also gonna add to this is our good vanilla again, a nice heavy dose of that, 3 tablespoons. And a little bit of our blueberry infused balsamic. Now the blueberry balsamic is gonna give this bread a beautiful caramel color, and it's just a little drizzle, about 2 tablespoons worth. So once you have all of your wet ingredients together, you're gonna go ahead and whisk them to combine before you add your sugar-free sweetener. I really like the Lancato brand. It's a monk fruit sweetener. I find that doesn't affect my blood sugars at all, but it may for you. So try it and tell me what you think of the results. This is the one I like. It's the golden version. Again, just makes the batter a nice, beautiful caramel color. So I've got all of my wet ingredients combined, and now I'm gonna start incorporating my dry ingredients. To make this diabetic friendly, I'm gonna use 1 3/4 cups of superfine almond flour and 1/4 cup of coconut flour. I find that the combination of these two tend to make the closest approximation of what a wheat flour bread would end up tasting like. I've also got some fresh blueberries from my farm. These are a blue crop variety, so that means that they're just giant, beautiful blue blueberries. So I'm gonna add those in later because we don't wanna damage them. We want them to stay intact so that they burst when they're baking, and it's gonna make the bread just have this great blueberry, lemon, excellent aroma that's gonna fill the whole store with the beautiful smell of zucchini bread. So, wet ingredients, and now I'm gonna add our dry ingredients. Keto baking is a little bit different from regular baking. You don't have to be as perfect with combining the wet and the dry very slowly. I've also got 1.5 cups of the grated zucchini. We're gonna add that. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a heavy teaspoon of cinnamon, and a little bit of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. We're gonna add those in there. Now the reaction with the baking soda and the vinegar is gonna help give us some rise. So now we've got all of those combined. The coconut flour is very, very absorbent, so that's what's gonna really tighten up your dough. So don't be alarmed that your batter is a little bit thick. Right before I'm gonna pour this in the pan, I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. And again, these beautiful blueberries from Millmont Farm. Once this is all combined, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into this parchment paper lined baking tray. I'm gonna put it in the oven at 350 for 60 minutes. You're gonna check it, and as long as a toothpick comes out clean, it's good to go.